Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video of Super Moving Ninja! Sorry I've been taking a break from YouTube for a while. I've been having a busy time, and now I've just been relaxing for a while, but now I'm back with another video. So at first I was choosing between Gran Turismo and Oppenheimer, but I figure I'll review Gran Turismo because, one, I thought it was the better of the two. Both were pretty good, but Gran Turismo was better in my opinion. And I'm I'm especially reviewing it now because it hasn't released yet. But I got the pleasure of seeing it at an early access event. So I've seen it earlier than most everybody except the people in my fear. So I decided I'll review this so in a little under a month when it finally comes out, you can know my review, you can remember my review, my thoughts, and apply that to if you should go see this movie. So this is always one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. This movie was amazing. I don't really like true stories that much most of the time, but this made it compelling. And it made the character likable, and you want to root for him. And another thing that I didn't expect was its use of comedy. It didn't have much comedy in the commercials. So when you see a commercials, you're kind of like, okay, this seems good, but it's not gonna be an comedy or anything. This way does those commercials. This actually has comedy, and you wouldn't really expect that. And from this, but it has some pretty good comedy. Like there's a scene where they have to run from the cops. I'm not gonna tell you what it seems, but it's not a spoiler. But he's just like, I'm not gonna miss this race, and then somehow you start laughing. So it finds really weird ways to incorporate its comedy, but also really funny ways. So on comedy, it's an 11 out of 10. Great use of its comedy. And then, what about just the movie general? Is it a well-made movie? Yes, it is a well-made movie. What's pretty interesting about it, too, is it doesn't actually use CGI. The stunts are real, the stunts feel real, and they feel good. And the camera work, another great thing. You're watching the car flip. There's even one part where it's in slow motion, kinda, and it's just really amazing. And at the end, it even shows clips to the real event and the movie event, and they really captured the real event in the movie. Another crazy thing is that the person who actually is the story, the person who's of the story, it showed the real person doing the stunts. The real person of the story actually did the stunts for his own movie. That's pretty cool. Then just let me tell you what makes it a good, fun movie. And so there's okay, so there is some things in the commercials that are shown and are pretty big deals when it comes to things in the movie. But somehow they feel different than when you've seen the trailers. That's a pretty interesting thing. And then now let's talk about enjoyment of the movie. Now, this might not be for everyone. But if you like your comedy, like your average comedy, kind of fish here and there, it's kind of like fish out of water humor, but it's funny. It's kind of like the Thor Ragnarok kind of comedy, kind of like that. And if you like that, then you'll pretty much like this. Then for someone like me, like I said, I'm not a big fan when it comes to that true story stuff, but I was invested in this, and the characters are pretty likable. Like the one character is pretty likable. The guy who it's based off, he's a pretty likable character. And then the person who had doubt in him ends up being a really great, likable character in the end. That you see why he didn't like it, because why he didn't like the idea of turning these gamers into real racers, because of what really happened to him in his time of being a racer, which I'm not going to spoil for you. But when you see that, you'll be like, oh, this kind of follows up to the plot. This makes a little more sense in the time, in the movie, in the story. So That's pretty interesting how they incorporate something like that. Then, there's not much judging for this movie too, because it's based on a true story. But I'm telling you about enjoyment that you'll really like about it. And you know what? When I mean this movie's not for everyone, not everyone likes cars, but and I'm not even a guy who really likes cars, but I did like it. I mean, but still, I guess you gotta appreciate the racing kind of thing a little more. But like another thing, it doesn't overcomplicate things. It somehow tells you a compelling story, but doesn't actually ever, and I mean literally ever, make it complicated. Like, it's kind of like, okay, so say a guy's saying, let me get right to the point. Well, you're saying let me get right to the point, but it's going to take you longer to get right to the point. Well, some movies do that, but this movie gets right to the point, no problem, no hesitation, it's just there. Like, for example, if someone says, a dude walked by, and then the person says, let me get right to the point. That dude walked slowly by. That's taking up more time. It's hesitating. It's literally hesitating to respond. This doesn't hesitate to respond. This doesn't hesitate to do anything. It goes with with no confusion, no hesitation. And another thing that's honestly great about this movie is that there's a few characters who aren't likable in the beginning, but feel likable at the end. And I'm not talking about the one guy who's the coach of him and stuff. I literally mean there's some other characters. Like his father in the movie, he's not really that likable in the beginning of the movie. I kind of got annoyed by him. I think like he didn't, support his son's dreams in the movie, but then he's a pretty likable character too. Um, then other things about this movie that are just let me tell you things that are cool about the movie is somehow these stunts look so amazing that you're sitting there and wonder, they lied to us. Are they using special effects? Do I need to play good cop, bad cop with them? Nah. That's how amazing it is. No joke. That's how amazing some of those stunts are. And then, like, when that final victory comes out, you feel like you feel his victory. And like that's not many movies can't really do that to you, but somehow you feel connected to a movie. You feel the emotions of a movie and you start feeling that same way even though you're not the person. That's pretty interesting. Good thing there. Very, very what's the word? Put it down in the comments if you know the word, but you know what I mean. So, then necessarily, there's things kind of like, yeah, I mean, maybe they shouldn't have done that, but the only thing that I ever felt like about that is how they made his brother act in the movie. That's the only thing I actually didn't like about the movie. If that's the only thing you don't like about the movie, and the actual character from real life as a character in a movie, you gotta admit that's a pretty damn good movie. So, in conclusion, what do I say? So, on a scale from 1 to 10 on comedy, like I said, 11 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Great. Under use of CGI and stunts, 10 out of 10. Camera work, 8 out of 10. Not that special. I thought the Flash's camera work was better, but for this, since it doesn't use CGI, it's kind of like just tilting the camera. Definitely 8 out of 10. Then, just story in general, 10 out of 10. Characters, 7 out of 10, just because I don't like the one brother, and some of the characters aren't likable at first. And then, the final thing. Suspense. There are some few good suspense scenes. Definitely an 8 out of 10 for that. And I just remembered there's one more. Emotion. 10 out of 10. You feel the character. You feel the character. You just, there's not many movies that can do that, and I really will praise this movie for that. Definitely 1,000 times better than Across the Spider-Verse. So, without further ado, Super Movie Ninja is out!